Hello. So I wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about sunscreen. We all know how important it is to put sunscreen on, especially nowadays. We burn easily, and we're talking about skincare and how the skin breaks down. The sun breaks down our skin and it causes aging and age spots and wrinkles and all that stuff. So obviously I've always worn sunscreen and I'm always really careful to put it on my girls because I want to protect their skin as much as I can. I didn't wear sunscreen a lot when I was growing up. It just wasn't something that we really did that often. I had a pool in the backyard and I didn't wear it every day. I mean, I guess we did if we went to the beach, and then as I got older, it became more important. So now it's really important to me that I protect my girls, and I don't want their skin to age either. And I know that they hate it now, but they'll thank me for it later. So summer's been coming. Well, we hope so. It's been raining a lot, right? But I went out and I bought a ton of sunscreen in preparation for, the afternoons we'd spend outside and days at the pool and the beach. Spent probably 40, 50 bucks on sunscreen. I just wanted to be stocked up, have some in my purse, have some in my car. And then Plexus announced Joyum, and everyone was really excited. And I started hearing things about a physical barrier sunscreen versus a chemical barrier sunscreen. And many of you know that I'm trying to eliminate a lot of toxins from our house, from our body products, and things like that. So I immediately started researching this. It wasn't really something that I personally paid attention to a lot beforehand. I had noticed last year I was using retinol on my face at night from Obagi, so a really good brand of retinol, and it was burning. Well, not the retinol. The retinol itself didn't burn my skin when I put it on, but everything else burned my skin terribly when I put it on. And so one of my good friends, who's also an esthetician, she told me to get a mineral-based sunscreen. And she really liked the Obagi Sun Shield. So that's what I got. So I got the Obagi Sun Shield mineral-based sunscreen, right? And I loved it. It helped me a lot. It didn't burn my skin. So I've also been using that on my girls' faces for the past year. I bought a couple of bottles of it now, and I really liked it. So when people started talking about the mineral-based or the physical barrier sunscreen versus the chemical barrier, and I immediately went and looked at the label on this. And yes, it does have zinc oxide in it, which is a physical barrier sunscreen, but it also has, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, otinoxate. I'm not sure. Octinoxate. So that's a chemical barrier. And a lot of the sunscreens that we use, most of them are chemical barrier sunscreens. So why is that bad? Chemical barrier sunscreens get absorbed into the body, and they cause hormone disruptions and endocrine disruptions, and some of them can even cause organ dysfunction. And funny enough, they can actually, long-term use can cause wrinkles. Didn't really get into too much on how that happens, but it was something I read in many places. A physical barrier sunscreen is going to be your zinc oxide and your titanium dioxide. So those are your physical barriers. So they sit on top of the skin. So I always remember the lifeguard with the white on his nose. So that's zinc oxide, right? So that does not get absorbed into the body. It's a physical barrier. It stays on top of the skin, and we have significantly less issues and causes for concern in terms of, is it going to wreak havoc on my body? What are the toxins that are being absorbed? So the zinc oxide and the titanium oxide is significantly safer for you. But there's some issues with the physical barrier sunscreen. If they're hard to find solely by themselves. A lot of them, sunscreens will get away with saying they're mineral based, right? But so they do have the minerals in them, the zinc oxide and the titanium dioxide, but they're in combination with the chemical sunscreens that get absorbed and cause all the problems. And that's what the Obagi was, right? We've got the mineral base, so they trick you into thinking that it's okay or it's not as bad for you. So let me put that one down. So it's hard to find a completely natural sunscreen. And when you do find a completely natural sunscreen, there's issues with it in terms of, is it going to be all white on your face, especially if you're using it on your face? How easily is it absorbed into your body? And what other additives, what other ingredients are they putting into that sunscreen to make it so it's not white, so it absorbs or blends away, I should say, I shouldn't say absorbs, into the skin, so you don't have that white cast. So then you can have chemical additives that aren't good for you, you know, to kind of counteract that white cast. So to find an all-natural sunscreen that was still going to be user-friendly, I guess that you could say, has been a really difficult journey for myself. I literally spent hours and hours and hours, several days for about 2 weeks, looking back and forth at different products. And one of the things that helped me tremendously was, yes, I Googled it. I Googled physical barrier and chemical barrier so I could learn about the differences, what I should be looking for in terms of good ingredients and what I should be looking for in terms of red flag ingredients. And also the EWG website. It's literally the letters EWG. You go to their website and you can specifically look for sunscreens, and they have thousands of them on there that they have rated. 1 is the best rating, and it goes up to 5. So the closer you are to 5, the worse that product is for you. They also have that EWG. You can look for all products on there, not just sunscreen. Excuse me. But that's what I was doing, is I was going back and forth, and I was literally looking for, I looked on the derm store, I looked on other websites, you know, Target, Walmart, whatever. I wanted to find something affordable that was safe for myself and my kids, but I also wanted it to be effective, and I wanted it to have good ratings from other people. So to get that combination was really hard. And to add on top of that, my daughter and I are celiac, and believe it or not, a lot of sunscreens and a lot of other body care products put gluten or some type of form of wheat or other of gluten in sunscreen. So that, to me, that was crazy. And as I kept digging deeper and deeper, then I was like, okay, is it reef safe? So we're going to the beach and we don't want to harm ourselves, but I was like, I also don't want it to be toxic to the ocean and all the animals that live in the ocean. So this became such a headache for me, and it was overwhelming. You just keep falling further and further into that rabbit hole. But I did. I found some, and I want to share with you the ones that I really like so far. I'm still trying different brands. This one right here is it's from the brand Mychelle, Mychelle. And this one actually got the absolute best rating that I personally could find. Now remember, there's thousands on there, right? But this one was the best one that I found after my days and days of research. And I did purchase this through the derm store. It has an SPF of 50. It got amazing ratings. And the only sunscreen in it is zinc oxide at 21%. So the awesome thing about the EWG website is not only does it rate the product, but it rates every single of these little itty bitty ingredients in the product. So the product itself could have an overall rating of a 1, but you could have some red flag ingredients, right? That may be a 2, a 3, possibly even a 4. But if there's not a lot of it in there and all the other ingredients are a 1, it could still get an overall rating of a 1. So this Mychelle Sun Protection, literally the zinc oxide, which is our physical barrier sunscreen, had a rating of a 2, which they do, like the titanium dioxide and the zinc oxide, their rating is a 2. That was the highest of all the ingredients. So the entire ingredient list, everything was natural and coming from a natural source. And they only had a rating of a 1, and there were a couple of 2s in there. So other products had, you know, some 3s. I even saw some that had some 4s, and I really wanted a product that didn't have any of those red flag ingredients. It's also reef safe. That's so hard to say. Reef safe. And it is gluten-free. So I'm excited. I just got this one. I'm really excited to try it. It's actually a pretty big bottle, 6 ounces. So I think it's going to last a long time because the physical barriers, they are thicker and they spread pretty well if you get a good one. The other one I got was Suntegrity. This is still an overall 1 rating, but it did have, I think, some 3s in there in terms of the ingredients. I've used this on my face. I like it, but it was a little bit heavy, and this is tinted. So you can get tinted ones to help with that white cast. And I also ordered, it's called Hawaiian Soul. I haven't got it yet. It's on its way to me. It's literally from Hawaii. Again, it had one of the highest ratings on EWG, not just the product, but the ingredient list itself. And again, gluten-free, reef-safe, and completely natural. So I ordered those. I got a stick for my girls' faces as well as the lotion. I wanted different products to find out what we liked best, and also different price ranges. So this is how it's spelled, Hawaiian Soul. I just realized it's probably backwards for you guys. So when we're looking at sunscreens, I'm going to tell you what I used before, which literally, I think a lot of people use this stuff, the Neutrogena Kids. It was my favorite. I liked the way it smelled. I liked the way it felt. I liked how easy it was to go on. The Neutrogena Beach Defense, which was the cream. And believe it or not, guys, these had the worst ratings on EWG. I was using the absolute worst products. Red flag, they were like 7 and 8 overall for the product on my girls. So yes, they talk a lot about how the sprays are super bad because of the inhalation. So you've got the chemical sunscreens, you've got those other red flag ingredients, and we're inhaling them. So that's super bad, but it still can be in a lotion form. And I was still using the absolute worst choices on my girls. Again, we're talking hormone disruption, endocrine disruption, problems with organs. And then I thought this was interesting because I used to use this, Baby Ganax, right? So I think the name itself tricks a lot of us. We think it's organic and it's for babies, so it's got to be clean, it's got to be safe, right? Tear-free, water-resistant, 50 SPF, and it says mineral-based sunscreen, right? So we think we want a mineral-based sunscreen. Again, zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Those are our mineral-based. Yes, it has titanium dioxide and zinc oxide, but it also has, before those, the main active ingredient is a chemical sunscreen. So again, it's tricking you to think that this is a safe sunscreen. And it even says on the front, no PABA, no phthalates, no parabens, fragrance, or nanoparticles, which are really good things to keep out of a product, but we're trying to eliminate that chemical sunscreen again, which is super, super bad for us. So I kind of wanted to share with you a little bit of my journey, which, believe it or not, this is longer than I wanted to talk. But like I said, it literally took me days to figure this out, order some products for myself and my family to try. So if I could share what I went through and cut down on that time for you significantly, I wanted to do that. So again, I really like the Suntegrity, the My Shell, and the Hawaiian Soul. And if you wanted to check those out, and there are plenty of other good ones on EWG, literally thousands. And it has all the ratings on there for you. But I was kind of obsessive about the user ratings and whether it was gluten-free, reef-safe, water-resistant, no red flag ingredients, even if the product had an overall rating of a 1. So I went back and forth and did all of that research and that work because, yeah, I'm a little obsessive. But I figure, if you're going to do it, you might as well go all in, right? So I hope that this helps you. Just think about what kind of sunscreen you're going to use, not only for yourself, but for your family. And just to take a look, dive a little bit deeper into the ingredients and what you're putting on your body, because it's just as important as washing your face and using Joyum and everything else that we do. So I hope that this was helpful for you all, and have a great day. Bye.